All right, good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Andrew Long, and I'm going to be reviewing my work here for accessibility, specifically online accessibility, and comparing it to the Online Accessibility Handbook as well as the Rice chapter regarding accessibility. This is an assignment that personally I was kind of blown away by how little I did. Um, and I've had to make some changes because I actually have students this year that have hearing issues, that have hearing disabilities. So it's forced me to make some changes. But this chapter and this specific module has been perfect because it helped me open my eyes and make changes for all of my students and not just one part, or be ignorant and just act like everyone can understand my assignments just the way I have them. Like Dr. Drian stated, I believe we all have something we can change, something we can work on, right? And this for me is a huge one, and it was kind of eye-opening. So just to go over this, I'm going to analyze a PowerPoint and then a project that I have the students complete. As far as the Online Accessibility Handbook goes, it suggests color contrast for specific information. And here in my PowerPoint, one that's on the French and Indian War, I have done that a little bit. I have the answers, things I wanted to focus on, written in a different color. And I've added some images here, which is also stated in the Online Accessibility Handbook, but there's no text beneath it explaining what it is. For if you're using a screen reader, something like that, there's nothing. It's just images. So it doesn't really help. Again, as the Accessibility Handbook says, I have it in a normal outline rather than a normal view rather than an outline view. So that's a change that I'll have to make. Put this into outline view. I did use a consistent template, right? And the reading order is in order, exactly the way it's supposed to be. So those parts are good. I just need to make sure I add the alt text, and I need to incorporate some headings and stuff like that. But there's no hyperlinks for this, so that's a good thing as far as this project goes, or this PowerPoint goes. I just need to make sure that I am adding that alt text because, again, these images to look at, sure, they look great and you can contextualize some of it, but you got to have that alt text there just so that way if students are using a screen reader, they can understand. And I got to change up the colors too, because if a student can't see red, yeah, it's a different color, but if they can't see that color, then what's the gain there, right? And this image I'll have to get rid of entirely because if you're a colorblind student, this is a mess, right? So this has opened my eyes in a lot of ways to changes I could easily make to make this a much more viable lesson for any student who struggles for anything, okay? And it could also help students that don't have disabilities. Students, just for online accessibility, it makes it look better. It streamlines everything. It makes it more convenient for every student, okay? Which I think is very important. These changes aren't just to benefit one group of students, although it is great that it does that. Really, it makes everything better. And I think that's an important lesson to learn about here, that we can constantly shape and change our material. If we don't constantly change our material, we're kind of to the point where we're failing our students, because every year we should learn something new or get some kind of feedback that can help influence and help change the way our projects work. So again, for the PowerPoint, I need to change it to an outline view for sure. The consistent template's a good thing. The reading order is a good thing. However, I need to make sure that I add alt text. According to the Online Accessibility Handbook, you need to make sure that you can use a keyboard instead of a mouse for this. That's very possible as well because you can hit the down button. So no issues there. And with the lists, I believe that I've added the bullets. I'm actually not sure if this assignment has lists. I mean, in theory, you could argue the Ohio, Monongahela, and Allegheny Rivers could be a list. So for there, you want to use bullet points or number, especially because I believe the worksheet that accompanies this asks for what are the three rivers, and it's right in a line. So my formatting there is a little wrong. So to make it better, you could just go back and erase this and increase some bullet points. So it would be Ohio Monongahela, if I remember how to spell that correctly. I probably didn't. I didn't actually. Monongahela, that is quite the spelling there. And then finally, actually when I hit back, I hit shift and enter. When I just hit enter straight up. And then finally the Allegheny. But now see, you have this issue down here. So I'm going to just go ahead and move this up a little bit, so that way the students can see it. It's not clashing against anything else. The Allegheny, which I believe I spelled that correctly. Yes. Okay, so that would be much better for accessibility, because it also not just has a list here, it also lines up with what the worksheet's asking for, which is important. All right. Now, for my second activity, I'm going to shift, and I'm going to focus a little more on Rice with this one. Rice focuses really on getting to know each learner's needs and how they best learn, and differentiation. So that is perfect for this, because this is on top of other assignments. I give a textbook assignment. There is a PowerPoint. There is another group project based on exploration and the people who worked and lived during the age of exploration and the advancements they made. So I have about 4 different ways to get to the same information, but this project is one of my favorite. It works out somewhat well because it allows students to use multiple formats for their project. And again, that is something that Rice focuses on. It says to have multiple media formats. All right, so students are given the ability to either create a PowerPoint or create a map or create a Google slide, which is kind of like a PowerPoint, or create a Flipgrid. There's a bunch of different ways to accomplish this goal. So we have multiple media formats here, which is great. All right, I have this assignment here. I also go over this orally. I talk to the class, and then which Rice mentions on it, says we should give oral and written instructions, which I do. But I think they should also add, we should model for the students as well. Get an example of what you want the project to look like. Show the class. The beauty of this is it can be so different. I had one student create a map showing the path they took. Another student made their slide on the Explorer. So it's nice that there's these different ways of presenting the materials. And again, that's important according to Rice, is we're supposed to accept different forms of assessment based on student needs. Some students can, express themselves through art. I personally can't. And I always tell the students too, I stress, hey, I can't draw to save my life. So if you want to go that route, that's fine. I will never judge you on your work, which I think is important for the students to know. But again, there's this. I have a YouTube video lined up to show the students as well, so the students can see this directions as well. So it's on a video. I put it on the board. I hand it out on paper. There's multiple different formats the way students can access this. And again, there's no headings here. This is a mess right here, right? So this needs to be fixed, whether it's with bullets, stuff like that. There's no color either, which is something I need to change. And this change in font size here is just a weird shift. Something I definitely do not agree with now, having read the chapter, read the accessibility handbook, saw what these students need to succeed. I mean, I made this in my first year of teaching, and it's looking at it now, it's very obvious that it was a first year of teaching kind of thing. So lots of tweaks I could make here, lots of changes to make. Again, and the reading order here probably is messed up, right? So definitely create a bulleted list here, or even better, you could do a separate page with all these people. That way it's not sticking out in the middle. Add color, maybe add some images, including that alt text. And that is how I would make this more accessible. Again, this is something that I've learned I had to work a lot on, and it's really opened my eyes, and I'm very thankful for that, because it allows me to be a better educator and make these changes, because it's something I didn't really think of before. It just, focus on curriculum, focus on lesson plans, focusing on getting the students to do the work, right? I never stopped to think about how accessible is this? And looking at it now, it's not very, but it's nice because the changes to make are clear, the changes to make are evident, and it's really easy to take anything that you have and make it accessible for all your students, because if you're not, you really are failing your students. This has been my analysis of both a PowerPoint and a project for accessibility. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.